You want to understand your favorite TV shows in English, but it's hard when you hear things like, I couldn't have tried harder, I'd have won if I hadn't fallen, when what you learnt at school was, I could not have tried harder, I would have won if I had not fallen. So today you're going to learn how to speak quickly, and we're going to look at 21 of these contractions that will help you speak more naturally and understand fast-speaking native speakers more easily. Are you ready? So a good example of this is when we say, isn't it, quickly, and it sounds more like this, in it. Isn't it becomes in it. Okay, we don't even really pronounce the T at the end because in British English we have something called a glottal stop, which is the stop sound you make when you go Now the phonetic symbol for this is like that, like a question mark without the dot. And if you're not familiar with phonetics, what have you been doing your whole life? Seriously, learn them now because it really, really makes English pronunciation so much easier. And you know what? Learning phonetics helped me so much that I've made just a very quick PDF for you so you can see all the phonetic symbols in English, see which sounds they represent, some common words that use each of those sounds. So you can get that by clicking the link in the description, and that's really going to help you with vocabulary lessons, with grammar lessons, and pronunciation lessons like this. Okay, let's make this fun. I'm going to say the contraction in English, and you have to guess what the contraction is. And a reminder that all these are informal contractions that you'll only hear in informal spoken English. Number one, didn't it? Didn't it? Didn't it rain yesterday? Didn't it rain yesterday? Okay, didn't it, with the glottal stop at the end, is the contraction of didn't it when we're speaking quickly in natural conversation. It got really cold last night, didn't it? Didn't it seem like the presentation went really well? Okay, here's another one. Done it. Done it. Look at that cake. Done it look delicious. Done it is the contraction of doesn't it. It looks quite cloudy outside, doesn't it? Doesn't it make you wonder what's going on up there? So as you can see from these examples, the contractions we're using are quite flexible. We can use them as question tags at the end of a statement, or they can come at the beginning of a sentence. Okay, let's try another. Didn't he? Didn't he? Didn't he do well in the final exam? Okay, didn't he is the contraction of didn't he. He got the highest score, didn't he? Didn't he impress everyone with his performance? Didn't he? Are you seeing a pattern yet? Notice that in didn't he, we do pronounce the T. That's why you see the T in the phonetic script. Didn't he? You could also say didn't he, if you want, with another glottal stop there. Okay, let's look at another example. Don't he? Don't he? Don't he always bring you flowers? Don't he always bring you flowers? Don't he is the contraction of doesn't he with the glottal stop. Don't he? Don't he? You could say don't he if you want. He always remembers your birthday, don't he? Don't he look tired today? Right, there's one more that's similar to the ones that we've already looked at, and that is didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't you tell me you were moving house? Didn't you tell me you were moving house? It's a contraction of didn't you? Didn't you? You promised you'd look after my cat, didn't you? Didn't you say you were going out tonight? Okay, quick summary. You've just learnt the following. Say them with me. Didn't it? Didn't it? Done it? Done it? Didn't he? Didn't he? Don't he? Don't he? Didn't you? Didn't you? They're all quite similar, so I recommend learning that group together. And remember, you can download the free PDF to help you with all these phonetic symbols. I promise you, it will really help you with this and with all other pronunciation lessons you have in your life. Okay, here are a few more contractions, and these ones are a little bit different. Aren't Any ideas? Aren't is a contraction of haven't you. You were supposed to finish that project today. Aren't you done it yet? Aren't you? Aren't you done it yet? Aren't you been practicing for the performance? Aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't you been practicing for the performance? Here's another similar one. Aren't it? Aren't it? Aren't it been wonderful today? Aren't it? Aren't it is the contraction of hasn't it. The weather's been so warm recently, hasn't it? Hasn't it been obvious all this time? Okay, let's try another. Auntie. Auntie. Auntie been working hard lately. Okay, so ain't it was the contraction of hasn't it. Auntie is the contraction of hasn't he. He's been staying late at the office every day, hasn't he? And he's been making a lot of progress recently. Okay, so there were some common spoken contractions with have. And remember, the more you learn and practice these contractions, the better your listening will become, and you understand real spoken English by fast-speaking British speakers a lot more easily. That's the main goal here. You don't have to use them in your spoken English, but it's really important to learn if you want to improve your listening skills. And hey, it's a bit of fun to practice too. Okay, so let's practice these three that we've just looked at. Haven't you? Aren't you? Hasn't it? Aren't it? Hasn't he? Auntie. Okay, let's move on to some other very common contractions. Okay, here's one. Won't he? Won't he make a great leader? Won't he? Okay, won't he is the contraction of wouldn't he? Wouldn't he make a great leader? Wouldn't he make a great leader? He cooks really well. Wouldn't he enjoy being a chef? Wouldn't he enjoy being a chef? Wouldn't he be the perfect candidate for the job? All right, let's try this next one. Not won't he, but couldn't he? Couldn't he solve the problem on his own? Couldn't he? Okay, have you guessed the contraction? Won't he is wouldn't he, so couldn't he is couldn't he. Won't he? Couldn't he? And you can also use the glottal stop here, like won't he? Couldn't he? He could always run faster than us, couldn't he? Couldn't he find the solution to the problem? Okay, so here's a similar one for you. Couldn't I? Couldn't I join you for dinner? Easy. Couldn't I is the contraction of couldn't I. Couldn't he? Couldn't I? I could borrow that book from the library, couldn't I? Couldn't I come over a bit earlier to help you prepare? And here's one more in this little section. Shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? Shouldn't I take more water on the hike? Okay, if you guessed the other two, then this one is easy. Shouldn't I is the contraction of shouldn't I. It's sunny. I should hang out the washing today, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I bring an umbrella just in case it rains? Shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? Shouldn't he? Shouldn't he start saving money for the future? Okay, based on the previous ones, you must have guessed this one. Shouldn't he is the contraction of shouldn't he. Shouldn't I? Shouldn't he? Again, we could use the glottal stop if we want. Shouldn't he? He should have listened to the teacher in class, shouldn't he? Shouldn't he apologise for his behaviour? Okay, let's summarise the ones we've just learned in this little section. Wouldn't he? Won't he? Couldn't he? Couldn't he? Couldn't I? Couldn't I? Shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? Shouldn't he? Shouldn't he? Easy, and I promise if you listen for these the next time you're watching English TV, you will hear them. All right, now let's have a look at some more common groups of words, and I'm sure you can guess what they are. I'm sure you're getting pretty good at this by now. So here's one to get started. I'd have helped you if I knew you needed it. I'd is the contraction of I would have. I'd have made a different choice if I knew the consequences. I'd have visited you if I was in town. Won't is the contraction of will not have. Will not have. Won't have. Won't. They won't have heard the score yet. You won't have seen a better opportunity than this. Okay, how about this one? Shunter. Shunter. She shouldn't have told him her secret. Shunter is the contraction of should not have. Shouldn't have. Shunter. Oh, we're so full now. We shouldn't have drunk and eaten so much. I shouldn't have parked there. Now I've got a ticket. Let's try a similar one. Coulda. Coulda. We could have helped if you'd asked us. This one is the contraction of could have. Coulda. With the same pronunciation for I, you, he, she. I coulda, you coulda, he coulda, we coulda. I could have told you that because I already knew the answer. You could have made a big difference with a little effort. Coulda. Cunta. They couldn't have done it without your support. Cunta? Can you guess it? Cunta is the opposite of coulda. It's the contraction of could not have. Couldn't have. Cunta. I don't believe you. She couldn't have said that. He couldn't have lifted that heavy box alone. Okay, you're seeing a pattern now. The word have, it often becomes Here's another one. Mighter. Mighter. I might have missed the train if I hadn't ran for it. Mighter is the contraction of might have. Like the previous ones, it's the same pronunciation for I, you, he, she. I might have, we might have, she might have. I think they might have gone to the wrong address. She might have told me, but I can't remember. Okay, so let's practice this little group of contractions one more time. I woulda, I'da. Won't have, won'ta. Shouldn't have, shunta. Could have, coulda. Couldn't have, couldn'ta. And might have, mighta. Now, if you want to really understand native speakers easily, learning these advanced spoken contractions is one of the 5 main things I recommend you do. The other things you should be focusing on are improving your pronunciation, learning connected speech and linking techniques, learning about relaxed pronunciation, and learning about the difference between content words and structure words and how that can affect the rhythm of our sentences. And I explain all of those things in that video there. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in that video next. Bye for now.